Welcome into the 34th episode of the Southern Boys Sports Podcast. My name is Drew, alongside my co-host Ben Clay.
What's going on, guys?
We are here, episode 34. We are in person once again. We got a special guest joining us here in about 14 minutes. It is 7:01 Central Time as we are recording. The power was out at my house, so I drove on down here to Ben's. We're doing it in person, a little bit of a mix-up. And we're here, episode 34. We're talking hoops. We're talking college basketball. And, a rare episode. We don't talk college basketball a lot. We'll get back to college football and the gridiron here in a little bit. But for episode 34, probably a shorter one. A special guest joining us, like I said, here not too long. And we're excited about that interview. So, Ben, how's your week been? It's been a week since we've recorded exactly. We're back on schedule. How's it been?
It was all right. Once again, just school. It's being school. I've had to get a lot more work done recently. Kind of realized that we're done.
It's coming down to it.
I've kind of got to lock in and get some work done.
Yeah.
But other than that, really just baseball and then getting ready for our first few games coming up.
Yeah. Should be a lot of fun. Episode 34. It's been a fun week. I'm ready for college football to start already, but March Madness.
Basketball's been picking it up.
Yeah, basketball has been picking it up. College basketball, March Madness is coming up. Shouldn't be too long before we're back ready to go in March Madness. I think Selection Sunday today's Monday as we're recording, so it was 2 weeks from yesterday.
Tomorrow.
2 weeks exactly from yesterday.
I think the conference tournaments start tomorrow.
Yeah, for the Atlantic Sun.
Yeah,
so that'll be like Lipscomb, which is right down the road. And all that. I think that's in Pensacola. So should be fun to start all of that off. But the dead middle ground from like April to August really sucks. College baseball is fun to watch from time to time, but I mean it would always be good to get some March Madness or some football in there. But the XFL, USFL, and all that can hold it over. Right now in the background we've got North Carolina playing Florida State, and at the half, Armando Bacot had 0 points. Armando Bacot made an appearance in Outer Banks, a television show that's been on Netflix for a while, if you're not aware. And he was on there. Apparently, everyone's pretty hyped about it. I've never seen it.
He was in there for like 4 seconds.
Ben's watched it a little bit more than I have. He's watched both seasons. I have watched 5 minutes of one episode. Nice. So, what's your takeaway on Armando Bacot's appearance?
He was in for about 20 seconds. I was like a bodyguard. Didn't say a single word. I think he said like fish or something, and that was it. So wasn't a bad job. Looked like a normal actor, but
the NIL can do a lot for you.
It really
he
can.
probably made a good amount of money off that, off
sure.
Netflix and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, last episode we talked Big 12 expectations. We've got a little bit. I guess college basketball talk to get to here before we jump over to our guest who's going to join us here now in about 11 minutes. And as we await him to join, Ben, your Belmont Bruins, the graduate. Anything in the background here, Belmont-wise? No, I can't get my head out of the way. There's not anything back there. We did go to a Belmont game. It was courtside.
It really was.
We really weren't supposed to be sitting courtside, but there wasn't a ton of people there. So
no one's going to care about Belmont.
We were breaking the rules or anything. So it was a fun game. Biggest comeback in Curb Event Center history, which is the name of their gymnasium. I think it was 17, 18 points.
17, I think.
At the half. So that was fun. Missouri Valley tournament coming up, which is the conference that they're in. So
spring break.
Yeah, spring break is when it is. Are you going down there?
Tournament.
You used to during the OVC when they were in the OVC,
yeah,
right?
Now we got baseball. Gotta prioritize it.
Yeah, certainly. Whose phone was that? Was that mine?
It was both.
Just keeping an eye out for our guy to hit us back. But it feels weird. We're not talking college football. We're not talking about any of the news, anything you want to touch on college football wise. Before we get to our serious hardwood conversations.
I had something to say. I saw something, but now I'm forgetting what it was.
Pac-12 media rights are out there. Definitely something to keep an eye on. The Pac-12.
We brought it up also like sports players getting away with stuff.
Oh, yeah.
League Neighbors had no problems.
Oh, yeah. Whatever happened to him. Yeah, whatever
he was
happened.
fine.
I know, but what did he do?
He had a gun.
Oh.
And with unlicensed and everything. So, yeah.
Nothing happened to him?
No.
Yeah, that's the stuff I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. Pac-12 media rights. I know the Action Network had come out with it that Ion was it's like a cable channel which plays a bunch of like reruns of old shows and stuff like that. And they emerged as a favorite to land the Pac-12 media rights. Everybody was kind of coking and joking about it. And and then people have said otherwise. People have gone against that. So a lot of question marks up in the air. I would have liked to have a more clear answer and clear perspective of what really was going on before we talked about it here on episode 34. But unfortunately, there wasn't much available. So yeah, we are here anyways. Pac-12 media rights being figured out. And all that good stuff. So a lot to touch on college basketball wise. Ben, neither of your teams are in the tournament this year. Who's your team that you're pulling for in March this season? You going for a sleeper or are you kind of going for a big boy?
That's a rough one. I'm going for I'm gonna say I'm going for the classic 11 seed, little play-in.
Yeah,
maybe UNC could get in, sneak in right there. I was looking at it. Who was on I think Arkansas is getting close to 11 seed.
Yeah,
I think.
Arkansas has been sneaking in as like a 6, 7, 8 seed.
Kentucky's ranked
at this point. Yeah, Kentucky's ranked. But the AP poll doesn't always matter toward bracketology, and it really doesn't play a big part.
If you're top 25 and you don't make it,
I mean, they're sure to be in. I think they're out of that last 4 in line. I see them as an 8 or 9 seed at this particular point.
I think so.
But yeah, bracketology. We've been doing a little bit of it here recently. Should be coming out with that. I thought it was going to be today, and that kind of slipped away from me. So it should be Wednesday is usually when I get to it. But college basketball is always weird because, you've got a lot of different games going on and stuff like that.
Everything's changing daily.
Yeah, during that time. So before we get to our guest, I keep wanting to say his name. I'm going to keep it secretive until we welcome him in. Welcome him in. A lot of big things to get to.
I'm going to say it in the description. So really
oh, yeah, that is true. That is true.
They're not
it's not a mystery if you clicked on the video. The thumbnail has it as well. So, I guess you're right. I'm trying to find, and they actually don't have that. Okay. Well, anyways, I guess we could go to miscellaneous talk here as we wait. College baseball. Let's talk about college baseball. Let's touch on all the major 3 sports here. We're talking basketball, talk football. We're talking basketball a little bit more, but baseball. If you like baseball, go check out the College Baseball Smack podcast. You're part of VSN Collegiate. But yeah, we are kind of approaching college baseball season. Texas A&M off to a very slow start. Lamar and I want to say Lamar and somebody else, another mid-major school, came out and beat up on them a little bit. So LSU going back for the Aggies. LSU lost.
LSU took a loss
to
Iowa, I think.
Yeah, that's right. I did see that. That was Sunday, right?
Sunday,
yeah, something like that. Tennessee, their head coach was suspended. So that's always good.
You see,
recruiting violations.
And they reviewed a home run, right?
Yeah.
Tennessee, y'all hit a home run. They had to review it though. Mm-hmm. They reviewed it and they called it a home run, so they recreate the play. So Tennessee player, he did a bat flip on the recreation.
Oh, really?
And their pitcher was not having it.
Oh, I did see that. That was when we were playing Dayton. That was when we were playing Dayton in the pitches. We were up 13-1, and the guy walked over
out to him. Yeah, it was like the Mitch Morse thing. Yeah, that was where they had recreated
when he was on the Nationals. Yeah. But yeah, college baseball is going good. Always something to fill time while you fill the void of college football. I was just driving over here and just really wishing that college game day would come back. All these really, really marquee matchups in college football would come back on Saturday afternoons.
It went by too quick.
And everything. It did go by really quick. And just for Georgia to go out there and win it all. And if you're watching our live stream, not very eventful game. It was a 58-point just whooping of the Horned Frogs. So unfortunately, that didn't go too good for TCU and company.
Yeah.
We talked about TCU's season in review last episode, if you want to go check that out. But yeah, it's been fun. We got to 200 followers over on Twitter. I did want to go ahead and mention that. 200 followers over on Twitter. I think we're at 205. And if you're not following our Instagram, make sure to go do that now. I think we're still sitting at 94, 95. So if you're listening, if you're watching, anything like that, make sure to go check out our Instagram. Yeah, it's sitting at 94. So like I said, posting more interactive content over there on the Instagram and doing
those 2 days ago.
and doing everything like that. and we're working on getting things done over there. So go check it out if you're listening or watching. Just a little bit of a plug there, and make sure to go follow all of our socials. We were gonna go tweet of the week to start us off, but I didn't really find anything tweet of the week worthy. I did study something really cool about some kind of snake draft or a draft where you had to pick one team from each conference to build a super conference. So that could be coming in the near future as we get down into the depths of the off season. But with recruiting and spring camp coming up, you definitely want to make sure to stay in the loop over there. So we are going to go ahead and get to work on getting our guy in here. But Ben, anything else from your week? Anything else from your week that you wanna point out? Anything big?
Really, I've been fine. Trying to think of something that I can say. Let's think here.
Basketball is playing really well right now.
Hillsborough basketball. It's a hot topic.
It's a
number 5 in the state.
Yeah. So we're out there. Drew Hull got himself 2 points out there.
He did.
2 points off a steal.
Created his own bucket
in transition, exactly. And then I hit our guy Max across the middle of the court, and it hit off his chest and flew out of bounds. So
that's happened.
Yeah,
I already got rimmed out on the 3 too.
He did do that, and he tried to shoot a pull-up jumper, and he missed. So tough outing for Max, although he didn't play terrible. And overall, yeah, we're playing good. Your boy got in. Your boy got a bucket. He finished everything out. And
40-point win.
Yeah, 74-34. So a little bit of a bruise in there.
Got one tomorrow night against Ravenwood. What are we thinking?
They're a good team. They're good.
Really?
They're not bad at all.
Right. It could be a game.
It's kind of like in the NCAA tournament where you play the 16 seed and you're like, okay, I'm not worried about them. But then you play the 8 seed and you're like, okay, they're not a bad team at all, right? Yeah, so something like that. And I'm not really sure what the heck is going on with this link right here, but it really is making me mad. So we're going to try and continue to figure things out over there. But the mic is up and working finally. The mic's been kind of –
really been off?
Yeah.
I've heard it a few times.
Yeah, the mic's been really weird for us lately. I tried that and it didn't work. So
wow.
The mic's been really weird for us lately, but I think I got it plugged in. I think I got everything up and running. So we're good. Usually I send it to myself. The link,
put it in the group.
Send the link to myself, and I think we're going to get that up and going here. Because I was trying to, I didn't want him to have to sit through all of our small talk and stuff like that.
Right, that's fair.
And so I think we're going to get him in here in just a second. But yeah, I'd like to get, who I'd like to get back on to the show this offseason is Billy Derrick. I'd like to get Chad Whistler back on, and
Chad needs to come back and
kind of run it all back from the beginning days of the show. First 3 episodes.
We haven't seen Chad's flips, have we?
No, we haven't. Yeah, exactly. And so we're still waiting on that. Ben, the link's coming over to you.
All right.
So yeah, we're steps away from getting him on. But yeah, Billy, Chad, all those guys were really great. And in the early days, we had 3-4 followers on Twitter for them to be, kind of gracious enough.
Oh, for sure.
Excuse me, to join us. That was really cool. So we're getting no copyright there.
Okay. Is that good?
Yeah, I think I got him. I got him. We're good. But yeah, and the other thing that I just tweeted out, somebody said on the ESPN broadcast, but I would like to say it's Kevin Nagandi.
Yeah.
Who said it's a
very touching thing that just.
Yeah, he kind of messed it up. He kind of messed it up. It was a Terry Holland passed away, who's a pretty prolific coach in the college basketball world, and they mispronounced his name as Tom Holland on the broadcast. So if it's not Kevin Nagandi, don't come at me. But I think it was someone on ESPN nonetheless. So
it happens.
Yeah, it does happen. It does happen. So I think our guy's joining us here in not too long. I should probably keep an eye out for him joining us. But we're excited for it. We're gonna have that formal intro, the formal sit down and all that good stuff. So we're excited for it. It should be a shorter episode, like I said, probably 35 to 45 minutes instead of that, longer winded an hour and a half episodes. But yeah, man, it should be fun. It should be fun.
Looking forward to it.
See if we can get them in here. The thumbnail for this one's another good one.
It is a good one.
I'm not
It is a good one. I've been impressed with your work.
I made it up. I cooked it up, and I was like, this is a good one. The one last week was really, really interesting. I actually like that one with the little cosplay one.
Oh, yeah,
that was
a different level.
So yeah, it should be fun. Here in episode 34. I think I like the thumbnail. The Instagram graphic is not bad either. No. I'm liking it as well. So everything's kind of rolling. I'm
looking forward to it.
Yeah, should be a blast. Let's go ahead and touch on.
March is only a few days away. Few days away.
February 27th.
March Madness cannot come any sooner.
I know, seriously. But let's see. Got our guy in here, but he doesn't have his. Looks like he doesn't have his mic or camera on.
Camera's fine.
Yeah, camera doesn't completely matter, like you said. So we will go ahead.
I doubt many people have worked with StreamYard before.
Anyway, yeah, that is true. StreamYard has been good to us, though, and Anchor's been great with us as well. As they've kind of let us put our audio in there.
Still use Anchor?
Yeah, still use Anchor. Mm-hmm. Anchor's the GOAT. Anchor is really the GOAT. And I read all those. I put the ad read in there all the time. Okay. We're having a little bit of a tough technical difficulties, but we're going to get him in here soon. I don't think his mic and camera are working all right, which is weird. Ben, do you use your phone when you do it?
I do.
What does it have, like a button for you?
It just says, do you want to connect? I don't really. I just kind of join it. I don't really look at all that stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. But North Carolina's up on Florida State right now, 47-33. Florida State, do you see all the? Okay, let's talk about that. All the buzzer beaters the other day.
That was amazing.
In college basketball. Arizona State.
It was Saturday.
Yeah,
that was some great action.
Arizona State, Arizona. As they're talking about Terry Holland on the broadcast now. Hopefully they don't butcher his name once more.
You got to keep on saying it.
Yeah. So Florida State was another team who knocked off Miami at the buzzer, and then there was one more. It was Michigan hit a full a half
Hunter
court.
Dickinson,
Hunter Dickinson smacked a half court.
That was the OT.
Overtime against Wisconsin. So
who else? I think it was like San Diego State did one.
New Mexico.
New Mexico. I think it was on New Mexico.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I remember seeing the Lobo in the middle.
Yeah.
And I was like,
New Mexico was sitting right there on the bubble.
There were other ones. It was
Florida State, Miami. We touched on that one.
Oh, it was that one. That's the one I was thinking about.
It was. Yeah, and he kind of ran down here, I think we got him.
Hello, does it work?
Oh, hold on. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome, man. Hey, we appreciate you joining us. This is TJ Minsky from College Basketball Content joining us here in episode 34. TJ, thanks a ton for taking the time out of your day. Come on and join us here on episode 34.
Of course, no problem.
Yeah, we're usually a college football podcast, but we decided to get college basketball content on and kind of discuss some stuff like that. So that's at College Basketball Content on Instagram and Twitter. And make sure to go check them out. TJ, we can jump right in here. And the first question I have is kind of more about social medias and podcasts and all that good stuff. So, we just kind of got off the ground last June. We've done a decent job, kind of elevating our follower count and listener count and all that over the past couple of months and even toward a year now. But can you just walk everyone who's listening and watching through your journey of building that following over on Instagram, which is near 60,000, I believe, and 2,000 followers over on Twitter, and kind of all the I guess I should say the hurdles that you went through to get to that particular point.
Yeah. So basically, I'm a senior in high school right now. So I started in 8th grade on spring break. I was watching. It was actually Taco Fall versus Zion. I think that game.
It's a classic second round game. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started posting just highlight reels and stuff from the games, and then I was kind of there weren't that many college basketball pages. If you guys know do you know who College Hoops Alert is?
Yeah.
Heard of that page?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's a couple of those college football pages as well that we keep in touch with. So,
Yeah, well, that one, I don't know if you guys know what that one is, because it's not around anymore, but that was like the main one. It had like 70K followers or something, but that was really it. So I just started posting like just like scores and stuff from
right.
the end of that March Madness, and then I kind of just kept doing it throughout high school.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
and then I guess it really started to peak like that COVID year, like later in that COVID year, 2020, 2021 season, like right after the pandemic is when I started to gain a lot of followers. And yeah, not too many hurdles to be honest, just a lot of posting and stuff. I
Yeah.
haven't really got burned out too much besides the off season. It's kind of a bad time, but
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. Thanks again for joining us. And I think we'll just jump straight into some hoops talk here. I'm a Tennessee fan. So this year it's kind of been filled with a lot of ups and downs. The resume is kind of going to be choppy now that we have, a couple weird losses and a couple weird wins like Alabama and all those weird wins. So, what have you seen from Barnes's Volunteers, and what's going to be the resume that the committee sees going into it? And I've seen a lot of people say we're going to go out first weekend, first round, second round, whatever. What do you see Tennessee's ceiling as heading into this March? Are you agreeing with them?
I don't like them. I'm gonna be honest. The problem, I don't. It's not that I don't like the college. Actually, I like the college. It's cool. I just don't think that they're like one of those teams that can make it, a run far in March Madness. I see them as like a second weekend, or no, not second weekend, second round exit.
Yeah.
I thought that what's his name, Tyreek Key from Indiana State. I thought he was going to be a lot better.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be like the main reason the team would go far, but he's kind of struggled shooting the ball. So I don't know. I like Ziegler, the point guard. I like the what's the guy with the long last name, Olivier or something.
Oh yeah, Olivier Kumwa.
Yeah, I just didn't want to pronounce that.
Yeah.
I like him. And then what is the deal with Josiah? I know isn't he
Yeah.
like
He was hurt, and he was kind of the main reason we ended up dropping that game to A&M at Reed. And we lost a couple games down the stretch without him. And but yeah, he was back last night against South Carolina, and we ended up winning that one by 30, 40 points. So it was good to have him back for sure. But yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, Tyreek Key hasn't been as good. He's had some games where he's peaked, like the Missouri game. He came out and played really well, and then that kind of just like fades away. So I don't really know completely what's going on with that. But yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you. We lost in the second round last year. We haven't really made a deep run since that Elite Eight run where we lost to Purdue. That was a team with like Grant Williams and Admiral Schofield. So yeah, heading into it, it's going to be tough. Anything else on Tennessee? Because we'll stay in the SEC.
I'm just looking at their like schedule right now, and I mean, they also have Vanderbilt. I mean, that was a buzzer. 2 games with those buzzer beaters. So I guess
Missouri and Vanderbilt game back to back. Yeah, that was a brutal time.
I guess I could see them winning a couple games of March Madness, but they don't have like a main like scorer on their team. It's just a bunch of like decent scorers, and then also I think they can make a run, but I don't know that the freshman like Phillips. I think he has to be pretty good for them, and he's also been hurt lately, so I don't know.
Yeah, he's been injured. He's been nursing injuries. Same with Josiah Jordan James. So both those guys have kind of been fighting injuries. We've been out 2 starters, obviously, with those 2 being down. So it'll be interesting to see what we can do. If we're off, we're completely off. That's Tennessee. So we'll see what we can do. Hopefully, make it further than the second round this year after an upset loss to Michigan last year. So we will see. Let's stay in the SEC. Obviously, there's the powerhouses of the SEC this year. You got Alabama. Tennessee's ranked pretty highly. Kentucky's obviously pretty consistently good, but there's definitely a couple sleeper teams within the SEC, and a couple teams that may sneak in as a 6-7 seed or maybe even last 4 in or lower on that line. Are there any sleeper teams you like out of the SEC to make a deep run, or any team you see as interesting heading into March?
Yeah, my sleeper team is Vanderbilt. I know a lot of people are probably confused with that.
Yeah.
But I think they've won 6 of their last 7.
Yeah. They're on.
And I know some people think that's like peaking too high or whatever, but I don't know. With this team, I feel like I don't know. I watched them play a couple times, and they're pretty good, to be honest. I don't
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people were calling for Jerry Stackhouse to be fired and all this after a couple of tough losses early. He got a double technical and lost his mind against VCU and out of conference play earlier in the season, if you remember that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were just losing it about him. But he's really pulled it together. He's got a nice little group. I mean, I definitely didn't see it coming after they lost Scottie Pippen Jr. to the NBA. And so it's definitely been a surprising season for him.
About them, though, I'm looking at their schedule right now. A lot of the losses aren't like that bad. Besides the Grambling State one was awful. I don't know how they lost. That's awful. But Southern Miss is like a tournament team.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
25-6. So I mean that was a pretty bad loss, but it wasn't awful. Then they lost to St. Mary's, not bad. I don't know. I don't think they'll make the tournament, but I think I think they could upset a team in the SEC tournament probably.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it would be fun to see where they can go if they can end up winning a couple games in the SEC tournament and maybe sneak in there as like an 8-9, last 4 in or something like that, and see what they can do with it. But yeah, that's all I got on the SEC. Ben, you can go ahead.
All right, so staying on like the sleeper team part of the game, we're watching UNC right now. They're playing today. What are some teams that you think could sneak in and be a sleeper team?
I don't know if this is a sleeper team for March Madness, but it's like a team that could take a bid. I think it's Queens. They're playing right now. I don't know what the score is, but let me check that real quick.
You're playing Florida Gulf Coast. I saw them. Yeah. They were up not too long ago, I think.
46-45 right now. Okay. I don't know. I feel like if they win this game, they could definitely make a run in the ASUN conference. I don't know if you guys follow that too much. I don't really follow it that much, but just looking at their first year D1, they're pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know technically if they're eligible for the NCAA because of that stupid rule where you have to be in the NCAA for a certain amount of years or whatever. But in the Atlantic Sun, definitely a team that could make a run. We're in Nashville, so Lipscomb's right down the road. You watch the ASUN pretty closely. Austin Peay is also in state is in that conference.
Wasn't Austin Peay in the Ohio Valley last year?
Yeah, they moved. Yeah. And
a sleeper team, though, actually, for March Madness, I have like an actual Power 5 team is probably Villanova.
Okay. That would be something if they're able to sneak in.
Yeah, I think they could. I feel like they could win out Seton Hall, Connecticut, final 2 games, and then if they go into the Big East and they win every game but the final game, I still feel like they could make the tournament, maybe sneak in. But I don't know. That loss to Portland was pretty bad, so.
Yeah, I mean, all their losses have been kind of un-Villanova-like. Obviously, you're used to them being a 5 seed at worst, 6 seed at worst. But this year, they're going to have to fight their way into the tournament. But I like them as a sleeper team. They're a winning program, and it'd be cool to see them sneak in. Let's stay away from sleeper teams at this particular point, and let's move to some teams that a team in specific that is a lock for the tournament at this point. And they're in a conference where the bracket is so weird, it's almost impossible to miss out on the championship or the semifinals. And that's going to be St. Mary's with the West Coast Conference bracket, which is basically just a gauntlet. I've seen a couple people say, obviously, if you keep up with the Sicko committee over on Twitter, they've done a lot with that and joked around about it. But, what are your thoughts on St. Mary's? Obviously, we talked about their win over Vanderbilt, and they've put together a pretty good run here in this season and an unexpected one at that. So I've seen them as a 5-6 seed. But are they legit, or are they a team that's an easy upset pick in that round 1 matchup?
I definitely wouldn't say an easy upset pick because they're pretty high in all the metrics. I'm not a big metric fan myself, but I'm not a fan of like the net and stuff. I don't know if you guys are.
Yeah, right.
But their resume is pretty good just for a team in the West Coast Conference, and also I really like the freshman Mahaney. I think that's it. So I don't think there'll be an upset in the first round. I don't see them getting to like the Final Four, but I could definitely see them in like Sweet 16, Elite 8. They make a good run. Yeah.
I mean, it was fun to see them pull the upset against Gonzaga, and it all kind of started from there, unraveled in a good way for the Gales this season. And it's been fun to keep up with because I mean they've been competing in the West Coast Conference and ended up getting to share the WCC title for the first time in I don't know how long, but it's been a it's been a big minute for them.
Wait, so quick question before you move on.
Yeah.
The West Coast Conference, isn't it like, so they're already in the semifinals basically, right? That's what
Yeah, just like it proceeds downward and gets harder for whichever team wins. So it's like Gonzaga and St. Mary's have clinched the semifinal spot.
Yeah, I kind of like that for a small conference like that with like two good teams and then the rest kind of bad.
Yeah, and I mean Gonzaga could end up playing Loyola Marymount, which they've already lost a game to, so that could end up being competitive and knock the Zags down a couple spots in the tournament.
Santa Clara, I could see them upsetting St. Mary's in that tournament if they move on to the semis.
Yeah,
with Brandon Podjemski.
Yeah,
you guys know who that is from Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Averages like 20, I think.
Yeah. That could be a serious bid stealer. I saw somebody post something about bid stealers over on Twitter, and I think that was included in there. You saw North Texas out of Conference USA.
Was that mid-major basketball?
It was somebody. Yeah, it was somebody like that, or one of those bigger college basketball pages. And they said something about some bid stealers. You saw. I think Queens might have actually been in there. Now that you mention it, and some stuff like that. So this was actually a question, but I guess I can form it into one. What would be one of your top bid stealers coming into this March? Talking about a team that is not the number one seed, may not be favored to win the conference tournament, but ends up sneaking in, grabbing a 12, 13, 14, 15 seed, and getting their place in the big dance.
I'm trying to think on this. It's a good question. Just give me a name of some conferences. I'll tell you. Like, just throw out a conference that's like.
Yeah. Let's hear something out of the. Okay, here's an interesting one. Let's talk about the Missouri Valley. We're about to touch on one of their teams. You got Bradley, Drake, Belmont. Some schools like Southern Illinois who can maybe sneak in the conference title game and snag a bid. Any teams out of there that pique your interest?
As a bid stealer, I got Northern Iowa.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Pretty disappointing year.
Yeah.
They're usually pretty good. They've been on like a huge losing streak. I'm looking at it right now. Let me see. It's 3, 4, 5, 6. They lost 9 out of their last 10.
That's bad.
Yeah, when you get to Arch Madness, though, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
That Bowen Bourne guy, I think. He does not miss. So
I know. I was watching their game the other day, and we're just about to talk about and Belmont and kind of stay on the mid-major line. But, I was watching Northern Iowa play Belmont, and they were, they gave Bowen Bourne as 1,000-point basketball. And, he's kind of the leading scorer over there. Like you said, just absolute bucket over there at UNI. And I'd like them as a bid stealer. But
wasn't that the game on was that this weekend, that game?
Yeah, it was on Sunday. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't Northern Iowa winning that game at one point?
Yeah, and then Belmont went up, I think, 16, 17 points.
We were up 17, and then Northern Iowa came back, and then Belmont just pulled out.
Yeah. So it was a nail biter.
Right.
Belmont's usually good. Is that coaches like Casey something? What's his name?
Yeah, Casey Alexander. Mm.
Yeah, so there. I think my cousin actually plays for Northwestern, so I think when he was going through his like recruitment, I think Belmont was one of the schools he was considering.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So staying on like the Ohio Valley and what you talked about, Belmont, my family's like they were fans of them, so we go to like all their home games and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, like, on the mid-major subject, are there any of these like 13, 14, 15 seeds, like mid-major schools that you think could like sneak a win in and upset?
Yeah. I feel like one of the teams out of the Conference USA, or if I'd pick UAB if they make the tournament, or I'd look towards the Sun Belt where Marshall is right now.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
It's either them or Southern Miss, in my opinion, for that auto bid, but I think it'll go to Marshall just because they have 2 of the best scorers in the country. They'll probably be a 12 seed if they make it.
Yeah.
And then they'll probably get like an overrated 5 seed. So I think they can definitely move on. What are the 5 seeds this year right now? I haven't looked too much at the bracketology, but
I mean, honestly, I can pull it up here. You're looking at like UConn probably is going to sneak in there. St. Mary's, TCU was kind of on that line. They're teetering on that line. Yeah, Miami, Xavier, and Creighton. So a couple of Big East teams.
Okay, so if Xavier gets one of these teams that I talked, Marshall, UAB, or Southern Miss, one of those teams, I could definitely see them losing. I'm not a big Xavier guy this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like them, but I feel like I don't know. They're not my Big East team. I like Marquette a lot, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I watched Xavier play earlier in the year, and they looked really good. That being said, they were playing Georgetown. So, I mean, it wasn't like they were playing a world beater. They were playing one of the worst teams in college basketball at this point. But
Did we fire that guy already? I mean, my gosh.
Yeah, I know. He's been around for a little long. I was watching their game against Providence on Sunday, I think. It was like they weren't even trying. Providence was up 27-11 or something like that, and it was early in the game. So it was like
they have Primo Spears, Brandon Murray, Jay Heath, all those scores, and they're 2-17 in the Big East.
Yeah. And they had that. They have a big dude who can go down there. A Cook. I don't know how to say his name, but he's pretty interesting. Yeah.
And they have that Wahab guy. What's his?
Yeah, they've got some crazy. I mean, and Patrick Ewing looks like a beast standing over there. 7 foot on the sideline. He looks crazy.
How are they 2-7? I just don't understand.
Yeah.
You have that Brandon Murray guy. I like him a lot. He's one of my favorites from LSU. I don't know if you guys know who he is.
Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about one last thing. We got 2 more questions, but they're pretty quick hitters before we let you go for the night. Number one, I guess we kind of already talked about it. If you had to pick one team out of all of college basketball this tournament season, who's that one team you're picking to go deep, maybe as a lower seed, an 11 or a 12 seed, to kind of make a Loyola Chicago or a run of those likes? Although it may not happen because it's every once in a while that something like that strikes. If you had to pick one for this year, who do you got?
Wait, was this like this? What was the difference from the last question? Like,
I guess just the difference was if you had to pick a team to go like to all the way to the Final Four. So like if you had to make a super deep run, not just an upset, but make that like magical run that we see here in March.
I really got to look at that. Can it be like? I feel like a Mountain West team could do that.
Yeah.
Probably if I had to pick a Mountain West team, probably Nevada. I like them a lot.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
I like the Jared Lucas guy. He's from Oregon State. He's already got experience playing in March Madness. He went to the Elite Eight, I think it was.
He beat Tennessee one year, not too long ago. He beat Tennessee in the first round.
Was that 15?
12. 12
or 5.
Yeah. And they got another guy, Ethan Baker, I think, transferred from Texas. He actually put up like 22 points in the first 5 minutes of a game this year, and then he fell off after that. But, and then they also got what's his name, the transfer from Elon that's coming back. He was injured. I forget his name, Hunter McIntosh, I think. And then they also got one more guy, Blackshear or something, that averages like 15 points again. I don't know. I think they're a pretty good team. 22 wins, so definitely think they can make one of those magical runs.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to see someone out of the Mountain West go deep. I mean, even a higher seeded team, a 6-7 seed like San Diego State, a guy like Matt Bradley down there, I'd like to see him play really well.
Yeah.
Even a team like Boise State, who may sneak in as a 9 or a 10 seed, I'd like to see them go deep as well. So if something like that could happen again this season, we saw it out of UCLA last year or 2 years back, I think. And then with Chicago, obviously, 2018 had to be. And then,
my UCLA run, it's hard to watch.
Something else. It kind of started the role of being ranked top 5. They landed Amari Bailey and some higher rated guys after that, and it kind of all started from there.
Yeah, it was just hard to watch as a USC fan. Like
that would be tough.
Speaking of USC, do you guys think we'll make the tournament this year?
I think you're in the tournament. I think you definitely have to. You're definitely in a crunch because you got the 11 seed probably as like a last 4-in team, and maybe a 6 seed. But you could sneak a win against a seed. Like you said, the 6 seeds this year are upset ready. So I see y'all making an upset, making a decent run. That Drew Peterson guy you've got has played pretty good. And then, the white chocolate guy over there. And then y'all got, what is his name?
Peterson is actually from where I live right now. It's kind of
really?
And I'm a USC fan. It kind of works out weird.
Yeah. And then y'all have got, I keep wanting to say Monte Ellis, but that's obviously incorrect.
Boogie Ellis?
Yeah, Boogie Ellis. And is Taj Edey still there?
Oh, no, Taj Edey. Was he on the team last year?
Maybe. I don't know.
His final year was on the team that went that beat Kansas. That smoked.
Okay, so that was like Evan Mobley's year.
Yeah. Evan Mobley
Okay. Yeah.
Elite 18.
Well,
Man,
Drew
that's
Peterson, Boogie Ellis, both those guys playing pretty good.
Yeah.
I could see y'all making a run. Last question for you, TJ, before we let you go. Who's your favorite? Who do you see taking it all this year? And who are you most confident in this March?
I hate to be that guy, but I'm gonna have to go with Alabama. B Miller. I know he's dealing with a lot of
A little controversial for sure.
Some controversy. I just don't like. I watched the game against South Carolina, and the dude went out there, dropped 41. Looked like nothing was even like being speculated on his name. So I could see them, or another team I could see is Indiana. Even though I don't like them,
Yeah.
I just could see Trace Jackson Davis. He's been there for what feels like 9 years. So
yeah, seriously,
he's got to do something at this point. And, they're pretty good. They also have that one guy that's been hurt, so hopefully he can come back.
Yeah.
His name's Xavier Johnson.
Yeah. Either of those teams would be really exciting to see. Thanks again, TJ, for joining us. We love to talk some hoops and kind of do something a little different. Make sure to go follow him on Twitter and Instagram at CBB Content and stay in the loop. Thanks again for coming on, man.
A quick question: how can I will this be on Spotify in a couple of days, or how long?
Yeah, it'll be on Spotify tomorrow morning, and then there'll be a post on Instagram and Twitter as well to kind of spread
good.
So yeah,
appreciate you guys for having me on here.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
See you, man.
No problem.
That was TJ Minsky of College Basketball Content. Thanks again for joining us, man. It was a blast. Ben, any last takeaways? Look, man, we're sitting at 42 minutes. This is unheard of in Southern Boys Sports podcast history. Anything you want to talk about before we get out of here?
I was just say that's great because that guy 60,000 and he's a senior in high school.
I know he's really put in the work.
For us as sophomores, that's a pro to look at.
Yeah, 60,000. He started in 8th grade. Man, that's crazy.
We're 1 year off, so freshman year of college.
But I guess
we're aiming for 60,000.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, and it's not gonna work if we're sitting at 94. But no, seriously, if you're watching on YouTube, it's right here. There you go. Make sure to go follow our Instagram at Southern_boy_sports pod and follow our Twitter at @so_boy_sports. Ben, really digging the new logo. I'm not gonna lie. I'm liking it.
I love it.
It's looked good. I wrote up a little script for the interview with TJ, and so I put the little logo in the top right. Looks phenomenal. Still working on that preview magazine for the football season next year, but I put the little logo on each page. Looks absolutely phenomenal. And we'll probably get an Instagram post, spread the word about that a little bit, but that'll come in the coming days. Ben,
94 people.
For those 94. Any objections before we end off episode 34, the shortest episode in the history of podcasts?
I think we've had shorter.
I don't have to check. I don't think so. Yeah, we got to check it out.
Short for us is considered under an hour.
Yeah, for sure. But there's definitely shorter podcasts.
3 hours and 32 minutes.
Yeah, that one always stands out because it was the live stream episode.
An hour. It's an hour.
Hoops talk doesn't take as long as you may think.
50 minutes. Cutting it close.
Yeah, we are cutting it close.
We're not.
But no, we'll get back to college.
49. Episode 5.
We'll get back to college football next week.
Crazy.
And then we'll probably have a March Madness special to talk about the bracket. We'll probably do a bracket prediction, and that'll probably be episode 36 or 37, if I had to guess. So we'll be back to the grind of college football talk, some off-season discussions, maybe a little Q&A for episode 35. So stay tuned on our socials
Reddit hot takes
for everything like that. Yeah, we could bring back Reddit hot takes. That would be pretty fun. And maybe some polls coming out
draft ones
in the coming days. Mock draft
or some draft hot takes.
Okay,
we can talk about Lil Bijan Robbins.
Yeah, keep an eye out for some mock draft stuff. I already got a guy who said he'd like to come on as a mock draft guy as a guest. So something kind of like TJ coming on today, where we obviously don't know as much as he does. He keeps up with it all year long, and we're kind of not completely casuals because we do keep up with it pretty regularly, but obviously not as seasoned as TJ is. But Ben, the classic question. Any objections before we get out of here?
No, I'm not objecting.
No objections. Episode 34 was a good one. Thank you again to TJ Minsky for joining us at CBB Content on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure to go boost his following. Give us a 5-star review on this one and go follow our socials as well. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and leave the video a like if you're watching because the thumbnail is an absolute banger. So show us some love. Make sure to get us boosted on all of our socials and do everything like that. So this was episode 34 of the Southern Boys Sports Podcast. Same time, same place next week. See you, boys.